Welcome to Stream, a trucktractortrailer.com production. My name is Zach Miller. I'm your host, and today's episode is sponsored by Ship.Cars. We're honored to have Eftim Eftimov of Ship.Cars with us again. And we're going to do something a little bit different here than our previous episodes with Ship.Cars, because what I've been fascinated by, Eftim, the customers, the clients of Ship.Cars who have used the app, who have integrated the Ship.Cars software into their operations, how happy they are with it, to the point where, and you listeners really need to understand it because it's rare, to the point where they will take time out of their day. And we all know this is trucking. People who work in trucking don't have a whole lot of free time during the day. They will take time out of their day to come on a podcast to talk about how much they love the software and the application. That is one of the great testimonials I've ever seen in my 10 plus years in trucking. That has to make you feel proud about the work you and your team are doing.
Zach, we first of all, thanks for having us again. We completely respect that, and we also don't take this for granted. Actually, I'll start with correcting you a little bit. Yes, clients or customers, but also partners, right, of our platform. And I think that some of it is exactly the attitude and the kind of relationship we have with the carriers that have subscribed on our platform.
Well, that's a great, and you're right, and I love that, and that's something at trucktractortrailer.com we do as well. We want to make sure that their partners and their feedback is taken into account. So, I mean, from that end, is that where you started with Ship.Cars? Did you start with, hey, let's focus on the customer service, let's focus on the feedback, the open dialogue, and from there we'll work on the technology?
Yeah, well, that's this is a sort of a multi-layered question, but from a product perspective and from a technology perspective, we always try to have a customer-centric approach, right? The software that we deliver is a software that solves for a particular problem, for a particular issue. It's not delivering software to the carrier just for the sake of offering them more technology, so to say. But when we talk about the relationship side of this, I'm proud to say that we are of the companies that we don't simply have a sales team, for example, that goes after customer acquisition, but we have carrier relations team, and the role of the team that we have in place is not to sell. The role of the team that we have in place is to be close to the carrier companies and the drivers, to understand their problems better so that we can be there for them when necessary. And then on top of that, we layer the customer support department, which are really the sort of the first line of support, the folks that you call when you have any issue, locating anything, or you want to inquire about a new feature in the app. For us to be available, I know it sounds simple, but for us to be available for the carriers is very important.
It does sound simple, but we all know out here in the real world it's not. I think we've all heard horror stories of vehicles breaking down, of people not getting back to phone calls, not responding to emails, and drivers and fleets left on their own. We've all heard that.
Well, at the end of the day, this process of digitalization in the space takes a very manual, I would like to say, process. Go there, pick up the vehicle, load it on the truck, drive, offload, and so on. And in all honesty, it's not easy to solve for all of this through technology, because you can give all the technology that can be imagined, machine learning and automation and whatever. But at the end of the day, the human element is still there. You cannot remove this from the equation.
100%. And I think that right there is where so much of the partner success is, and why your partners are so happy with it. Because as I've said for a long time, I said, I've worked in trucking for a long time. It's a very analog business. dragging it into the digital world has been a very difficult process. And I think the more tech companies have an understanding of that human element to it, the more successful they are.
Well, it's in reality, it's been a push on the car carrier companies, right? Transportation providers, large shippers, for the past now what 4-5 years realistically, have been pushing technology across the supply chain to their vendors in search for faster status updates, in search of ease of communication, ability to get reporting, and at the end of the day, how to put it, satisfy or please an end customer, right? Because pleasing the end customer is really important, right? We as a multi-sided platform, we are trying to always find the balance. But at the end of the day, carriers have been on the receiving end of this issue. Multiple different shippers pushing for different pieces of technology. We talked in some of the previous meetings that we had with you about the carriers using multiple driver apps, the drivers using multiple apps to record the pickup and delivery process, and it's not been easy. It's not been easy for them.
No, it hasn't been, and that's what any conference I'll go to, when the topic of technology comes up, the drivers are the first to say how difficult it is and how difficult it can be.
Correct. And our approach here has been, okay, we understand the shipper side or the transporter side of the equation, but at the same time, given that certain events are important, let's take location tracking, for example. And this is it's a fairly tricky topic, right? You have to be careful, and as a driver, you want to be careful how you share location tracking, when you want to turn it on, when you want to turn it off at some point in time. Because at the end of the day, the end benefit for this lies with the shipper or the customer that knows, for example, where the vehicle would be, and can get some estimate for, I don't know, ETA, just as an example. But at the same time, we have said this, okay, one way or another, location is shared. So why don't we try and use this experience or this activity coming from the carrier to somehow improve their life or their business? And in our scenario, one such simple example is, well, if we have a better understanding, at least in what geographical area you are as a driver, we completely, and nobody cares where exactly somebody is in any particular space moment in time. But if you are in certain geographical area, and we know that there is business, there are loads in this particular area which might be of interest to you, right? Then this gives us the ability to suggest such loads, right? In a nudging way, so to say, right? I think one example that I'm giving from time to time is with the GPS that you have, navigation that you have in your car, right? You say, take me from A to B, and then it suggests, it nudges you, turn left here, turn right there. You as a driver, you don't have to turn left, or you don't have to turn right at the end of the day. It's only a suggestion.
Right.
But yes, at the end of the day, you know that the end benefit of this is you arriving in this place in a safer and faster manner where you want to go. So this is what we're trying to do as well. Suggest certain business opportunities, whether you take them or not, you don't, but we care for you maximizing profit, minimizing transit time, and so on.
And I think that's the type of thing that, especially on that owner operator level or that really small business level, is appreciated, because it's not just about, oh, hey, this company is going to get me there safely. It's not just, oh, hey, this company is going to get me paid a little quicker. They're going to make my bill of lading process a little bit easier. It's like, oh no, this company actually wants me to succeed. And I think that's where that partnership comes in again, right? It's like, it's about where we want to succeed together. And here are some tools that we provide to help you do that. Take advantage of them, to the extent that you want.
Well, from a business perspective, that's exactly right. And through technology, through Ship.Cars, for example, one of the offerings that we have, and specifically when we talk to owner operators, and in reality, this is the majority of the carriers on our platform, we also talk to them about, through us, you get access to volume and to business that otherwise it would have been fairly difficult for you to get to, because we also work with the shippers. We talk to the shippers. Okay, you obviously have relationships with certain carriers, but you know the ecosystem of carriers looks like this. Take advantage, you know, of working with an owner operator. And realistically speaking, our analysis and our observations show that this is sort of like a trend. More people want to be independent, want to drive, you know, on their own, and in this scenario, technology is a must.
Yes, exactly. But so I totally agree. It's a must, but even then, that's the opportunity that provides you that ability to be on your own, because it's very easy to say, I want to be my own boss. I want to set my own loads. I want to do that. Great. What's step two? How do you actually take it from a want to something you could actually succeed in? And that's where these technology platforms come into play. And that's why you and your team have been able to, I think, step above the competition, because that's the way you think and you operate.
Yep. Well, I think so too. The whole document process of the things, and I think your audience is already familiar with the product portfolio that we have. But on the carrier side, we obviously leverage the market, the load board, with online negotiations and or the ability to automatically claim loads from the platform. We have the carrier product as a transportation management system specifically designed for small and mid-size carriers, and obviously the driver apps as well. And I think the overarching thinking while developing this product portfolio has been, how we can deliver working technology that's sophisticated enough to digitize a manual process, but at the same time be simple enough so that it's easy from a user experience perspective.
Yes, that's it. And that is exactly where, to be able to do that, to be able to thread that needle, that's where you have partners coming back. That's where you have partners going on a podcast saying, this is the software for me and my company, and here's why.
And it's not simple, and we're far from perfect. I think it's important to have the understanding and the thinking of constant evolution, constant learning. Our products have evolved, I would like to say, drastically from where they were 5 years ago when we first deployed some of them. And yeah, that's the plan. Continue, learn, monitor, and improve.
Perfect. Eftim, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for all you and your team have done. And you listeners, you viewers out there, all the information, the links to Ship.Cars platform is going to be in the description below. Feel free to click on it, look around, schedule a demo, whatever you need. But like we say, it's an option for you. And it's a very interesting suite platform that's offered, and we definitely recommend you check it out and see how it can improve your operations. As you've heard on this show, pretty drastically in some cases.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you. If you like the content you see, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time on stream.